Pat Tabler came into the hobby scene just in time to miss the frenzied launch of the rookie card crazy train, but still close enough to give diehard collectors some hope that he'd be one of those guys. You know, one of those guys who blossomed out of the depths of the lowly Cleveland Indians roster to become a big name, or to find his stroke once the Indians traded him to a better team. Some of the tea leaves were there. He hit 6 home runs in 1983 and 10 in 1984, with the nice .291 and .290 batting averages to accompany them. Those numbers had us pausing as we sifted through stacks of 1982 Donruss cards and wondering, would that Tabler rookie card, where he dons the Chicago Cubs pinstripes and looks like he just woke up, be worth something someday? Well, the 1985 season pretty much disabused us of that notion. The Indians finished at 60 and 102, deep in last place in the old American League East. Tabler's playing time dropped to 117 games and his homers to 5, and his batting average to .275. In more modern terms, his OPS plus dropped below the league average to 91, and he was already 27 years old. So by the time the new 1986 baseball cards hit the store shelves that next spring, even the most ardent dreamers among us had given up hope that Tabler would really break out and lift his cards out of the commons bins. And we were done dropping him into our maybes piles. Imagine my surprise then when I pulled my first Tabler card from a pack of 1986 Donruss cards. There he was, kneeling with a bat and smiling. Nothing really out of the ordinary other than the Indian of the era finding reason to smile. Then it hit me. There was something else on this card. Something beyond the 1980s video game design and Chief Wahoo sneaking an appearance across the right side of the card. There, almost hidden in the Indians across Tabler's chest and the stripes on his sleeves, were 2 words, in script, Mr. Clutch. What? What the heck did that mean? Had Donruss ripped up a new batch of designations for certain players and peppered them throughout the set? I shuffled through a handful of cards and couldn't find anything similar other than the usual rated rookie tag for rookies that Donruss rated very highly for one reason or another. Nope, this was specific to Mr. Tabler. But again, what did it mean? Tabler wasn't a star. He hadn't done anything particularly memorable that I can think of, and the Indians hadn't won anything during his tenure. How could he be Mr. Clutch? Being an inquisitive and slightly indignant by this point lad, I flipped the card over to search for answers, but there were none. Not ostensible ones, anyway. No mention of Mr. Clutch. No big awards won. Nothing. Until I dug down into the details under career highlights. There on the first line, I saw it. Has phenomenal 22 of 35, .629 career average in bases loaded situations with 54 RBI. Ah, so that's it. Tabler was the clutch with the bases full. Sweet. It gave me renewed hope for a little while that he would really still be a star. A guy who would become a Hall of Famer in his 30s like Edgar Martinez before Edgar Martinez. Didn't happen, of course. But that misleading, not misleading 1986 Donruss Pat Tabler card did imprint him deeply in my collector mind and my collector heart. So he pops into my cardboard field of vision every now and then. Like in October of 2018, when the Cleveland Indians found themselves in the playoffs for the 3rd season in a row. Something that would have been unfathomable in 1985 or 1986, but it's almost expected these days. Heck, if it weren't for the storybook Chicago Cubs of 2016, the storybook Cleveland Indians could have even won the World Series. But in 2008, well, the Indians were a notch or two below the peak they had reached 2 years earlier, and they found themselves locked in a battle for the American League Division Series title with the defending world champions Houston Astros. Only it really wasn't much of a battle. Cleveland dropped the first game 7-2. The second was a little better at 3-1, and the third was a disaster, an 11-3 loss at home. Now, I'm a fan of the underdog, and Cleveland almost always fits that bill in my book. So I watch this series, and I try to think of ways that the Indians might have won, or at least pushed across a few more runs. Inevitably, my ponderings turn to Mr. Clutch, Pat Tabler. Would he have helped? Well, to work his magic, Tabler needed to work with the bases full, apparently. In Game 1, the Indians only left 3 men on base for the whole contest, and there was no Tabler situation. In Game 2, their left on base rose to 4 but topped out at 1 in any particular inning. And in Game 3, when the Indians actually led in the 7th inning, another 4-1 left on base game for the Tribe. In the end, then, it appears that Tabler's clutchiness was an interesting footnote in the quintessential 1980s baseball card issue, but had little bearing on titles or big moments in the game. And it seems unlikely that he would have made much difference for the 2018 Cleveland Indians. No matter how much 14-year-old me wants to think that's possible. And really, how big of a clutch performance could we expect from a 60-year-old first base, third base, left field type anyway? Like our video? Then like our videos and subscribe to our channel. waxpackgods.com